Jeffrey Epstein lived a life wrapped in luxury, secrecy, and influence. From private jets and Caribbean islands to Manhattan mansions worth tens of millions, his lifestyle symbolized extreme wealth and exclusive privilege. He moved among presidents, princes, and billionaires, appearing untouchable. Yet, behind that glittering facade lay one of the most mysterious stories of modern wealth. From Brooklyn to billionaire circles, Jeffrey Epstein's rise began far from the luxury he later flaunted. Born in Brooklyn in 1953, the son of working-class parents, he showed brilliance early on. After briefly teaching mathematics, he moved into the world of finance, where his intellect and charisma earned him access to high-net-worth clients. Within a few years, Epstein founded his own financial management firm, claiming to serve only billionaires. This self-image of exclusivity became central to his persona. He used secrecy as marketing, never revealing exactly how he made his money, but always living as if it could never run out. The result was a mystique of success, whispered about in the corridors of Wall Street and Manhattan's elite social clubs. The Manhattan Mega Mansion. Epstein's New York mansion was the crown jewel of his empire, a 7-story limestone palace on the Upper East Side. Stretching across 21,000 square feet, it was among the largest private residences in Manhattan. Inside, visitors found imported marble floors, gilded chandeliers, and an art collection worth millions. The library smelled of old leather and rare books. The grand staircase glowed under warm amber light. Everything was designed to overwhelm, to signal control and sophistication. Epstein loved making his guests feel small inside spaces that screamed power. The mansion wasn't merely a home. It was a performance stage, a setting built to impress world leaders, models, scientists, and tycoons who visited his inner circle. Palm Beach, a tropical fortress of elegance. In Palm Beach, Florida, Epstein owned another retreat, hidden behind tall hedges, ocean breezes, and guarded gates. The property combined colonial architecture with modern tropical luxury. White pillars framed the entrance, while manicured lawns led to private pools surrounded by palm trees. Inside, Italian marble met soft pastel walls, giving the mansion both warmth and authority. It was here that Epstein hosted elite gatherings, surrounded by laughter, champagne, and whispers of deals. He dined under candlelight on terraces overlooking the sea. Palm Beach represented his softer side of indulgence, a mix of relaxation and control, where every dinner was an audition for entry into his exclusive world. Private islands of endless indulgence. Among Epstein's possessions, none were more symbolic of his wealth than his private Caribbean islands. Little St. James and Great St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Little St. James, about 70 acres of pure paradise, held a mansion, guest houses, helipads, and turquoise-tiled swimming pools. Palm trees lined its beaches, and luxury yachts often anchored just offshore. Epstein designed the island as his personal kingdom, where privacy was absolute and pleasure limitless. Helicopters came and went, transporting famous guests under the golden sun. To outsiders, it was a dream. Turquoise water, white sand, and silence broken only by ocean winds. To Epstein, it was freedom, a place where rules bent to his will, and luxury meant isolation from consequence, jet-set power, and sky-high comfort. Epstein lived in motion. His preferred mode of travel was private aviation, and his fleet included multiple aircraft, among them a customized Boeing 727. The interiors resembled 5-star suites, with reclining leather seats, fine wood finishes, and onboard dining that rivaled luxury hotels. He used his jets to move effortlessly between New York, Palm Beach, Paris, and his Caribbean islands. Traveling privately wasn't just convenience. It was a symbol of status. Each flight was a declaration that he lived by his own rules. On land, chauffeured limousines and luxury sedans awaited him. In the air, he was king. On the ground, he was legend. To those watching from afar, it seemed that Epstein's life had no limits, a seamless blend of wealth, access, and untouchable privilege. The circle of influence and prestige. Luxury for Epstein wasn't measured only in gold and marble. It was measured in proximity to power. His guest lists read like pages from global headlines. Presidents, princes, scientists, fashion models, and CEOs. He cultivated relationships with the world's brightest and most influential, presenting himself as both philanthropist and intellectual. He hosted dinners where guests discussed technology, genetics, and economics beneath crystal chandeliers. To many, his charm was magnetic, a man who seemed to understand both finance and philosophy. The elite found his company stimulating, mysterious, and useful. This social circle became his currency. Power drew more power, and Epstein thrived on it, using influence as another form of luxury, just as intoxicating as his wealth. Art, architecture, and the obsession with perfection. Every one of Epstein's residences reflected a meticulous eye for design and grandeur. His spaces were filled with rare sculptures, custom-made furniture, and exotic collections from around the world. He blended classical architecture with futuristic themes, sleek glass beside carved stone, traditional art beside modern surrealism. Even his libraries were curated for visual impact, lined with leather-bound volumes arranged by color and theme. Walls carried portraits of world leaders and philosophers, hinting at an image of intellect and dominance. The lighting in his halls was deliberate, golden hues that softened shadows and exaggerated opulence. To Epstein, aesthetic perfection was proof of superiority. Luxury wasn't only about comfort, it was about mastery, control, and the illusion of immortality. The illusion of luxury and the fall from grace. For years, Epstein's life appeared flawless. He had mansions, jets, yachts, and endless money. But beneath the elegance lay deception and darkness. The same privacy that protected his wealth also concealed exploitation and criminality. When his empire began to crumble, the world saw that his fortune was built on manipulation and abuse of power. The glittering surface shattered, revealing the cost of his ambition. His death marked the end of an era of illusion, a reminder that luxury without ethics leads to ruin. Epstein's story stands as one of the starkest contrasts in modern history. A man who had everything that money could buy, but nothing that peace could give. Jeffrey Epstein's life was the ultimate paradox. Dazzling wealth masking devastating truth. His private jets, palatial estates, and secluded islands once symbolized elite luxury. Yet, his downfall showed how power without morality collapses under its own weight. His story endures as a chilling lesson. True luxury isn't possessions or status, but integrity, empathy, and conscience.